All right, mic check, making sure this is all working. Mic check, mic check. Got it?
I'm hearing you.
All right, push it, send it. Let's do this. Move this live cam over a bit, Kay.
Okay.
There we go. Check
Push
that
is
out.
Sent. Oh, nice. Let me tell them.
So this is how you do that without the joystick. Just do little bits.
That's awesome.
All right. That'll be a good shot. Okay.
All right, push alert has been sent.
All right, hello everybody. Just tuning in. Adam Caskey and me in Montgomery here.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, we are tracking these storms. I'm gonna take my IFB off.
Okay.
Okay, because I don't think it's helping us. No, I'll keep it in case the control room needs to reach me, but I don't think. All right. Hello, everybody. Want to give you a live look outside. This is from our camera at I-10 and 410. And this is looking at the storms that are off to the northwest of San Antonio right now. So the sky's obviously getting a little darker out there. And we'll get to some storm pins, some KSAT Connect photos in just a bit. But first, we need to get a look at the radar and all the severe thunderstorms that we have across our area. There is a lot to talk about right now. Many areas being affected by severe storms, stretching from basically the corners of our viewing area from New Braunfels, San Marcos, southward all the way down toward Eagle Pass and Crystal City, Carrizo Springs. That includes you, Frio County. You've got that severe thunderstorm. What we're seeing is a cold front move in and this line of storms develop along that front. And this is going to be one of those quick but hard hitting situations. So you'll notice it significantly. It's going to hit, and then once it clears, you're good. Then you're in the clear. You can see it's very electrified, a lot of lightning. I do think the primary hail threats, now the two primary threats, I want to point this out, straight line wind gusts 60 to 70 miles per hour and large hail 1 inch or greater in diameter. Moving into Canyon Lake, we've got the thunderstorm right now. That's hitting Canyon Lake at the moment. Straight line wind gusts, the primary threat there, but get ready. After the heavy rain will be some hail likely to be mixed in with it and the chance of some 1 inch diameter hail. Bergheim, Fair Oaks Ranch, it's moving in as we speak. Bulverde, it's not far away. Those of you in Bulverde, the heavier rain is going to get there by 6:07, probably even a little bit sooner than that. Let's redraw this. Here we go. Yeah, 6 o'clock. Bulverde, you're going to get that by 6 o'clock. It's only eight miles away in Bergheim. It's also now starting to creep into northwest Bexar County, just north and west of Helotes. And this is the area that we're mostly concerned about. That's over Pipe Creek at the moment. This is where we have what's likely the largest hail within this storm. This really blossomed over Bandera, this purple and black area, which is where we have the hail within the thunderstorm. This really blossomed over Bandera County, and now that is headed to the southeast, likely going to hit parts of northern Bexar County. So let's put this into motion, and you'll see what I mean. When you see that purple area really pulse up around Bandera, poof, and now it's headed to the east-southeast. So I anticipate this to move into extreme northern Bexar County, and depending on its trajectory, right now it looks like it's moving to the east-southeast. And let's just give this a little bit of a timeline. So I'd say from Bernie to Leon Springs is where that area of hail is headed next. As for a timeline for just the hail part, making it to Scenic Oaks at 6:14 p.m. That would be that hail portion of the storm, 6:14 p.m. I know you're getting some of the rainfall, but it's that larger hail that we're watching there. So the severe thunderstorm warning is for 1604 on the north side of town and around the northwest side, UTSA, the Rim, Six Flags, Fiesta, Texas, etc. Up closer to Canyon Lake and Bulverde, a little bit of hail likely to mix in, but Right now, the radar isn't detecting a whole lot of that. I'm going to switch over here to look at wind gusts and potential winds within the storm. And this is actually looking a little bit higher up in the sky, but it is sampling some stronger pockets of wind, especially approaching Bernie and Wimberley and Wood Creek and whatnot. That's what we have locally at the moment. Nothing threatening downtown at the moment. Nothing threatening anybody within 410 or 1604 at the moment. But we are expecting more development southward along this line as it heads east. We're expecting more development and even the potential of these two sections to merge together somewhere near or over San Antonio, give or take. That's what we're expecting. So let's go to Frio County. Excuse me. This is where we have the active severe thunderstorm. And this just moved in, just really flared up along that cold front that's headed in. The cold front's what's triggering this. We have a lot of instability in the atmosphere, but we need something to overcome the little cap that we have above us. So we need a cold front, some kind of triggering mechanism to get the thunderstorms to develop. And this cold front is doing that. It caught up to the dry line and now it's moving through, and that's our triggering mechanism. So moving into Pearsall and more. This is just south of Devine for the moment, but Devine, it wouldn't surprise me if this builds northward toward you, if you see more northward development up I-35. And I know we've had quite a bit of hail down I-35 south of San Antonio, especially Pearsall to Dilley, that area. We've had some hail this spring, and it looks like there are more pockets of hail headed toward Pearsall. But you look at the last hour here, you get this development, and this could very well develop a little bit northward. So that's one element that we're going to be watching with this. This storm doesn't look like it's moving quite as quickly, but let me just put a time on this. So that's headed basically to the east-southeast. We're going to keep it with the same speed of the other storms for the most part. We'll slow that one down just a little bit. But Poteet, assume this stays on path. 6:29 p.m. Jourdanton 6:46 and Charlotte at 6:34. So Charlotte 6:34. Jourdanton 6:46, Pleasanton High School at 6:46. That's that cell. Let's keep going down and we'll get back to the action that's headed into northern Bexar County in just a bit, but we're not going to disregard what we have going on here. We have to switch radar sites to Crystal City, southward to Carrizo Springs, southern Maverick County, northern Dimmitt County, and northwestern Dimmitt County, so southern Zavala there. Now, these storms were individuals, and now they've clustered together a bit, and they still have some potentially large hail, 1 inch or bigger, probably 1.5 inches. So we're talking at that point basically $half size, maybe some ping pong ball size. But I think the hail within these was even bigger just moments ago over the previous hour with these storms. Anyway, they're headed toward down to the southeast through Dimmitt County and about to exit southern Maverick County. Once these storms move through, you're in the clear. This is it. This is a one and done. This is a hard hit and then it's out of here and then there's nothing left. That's what this situation is when it comes to these lines and these cold fronts that help kick off the showers and thunderstorms. Okay, back to our home radar site for San Antonio and assessing this line right here. Let's time it out. Okay, I'm going to turn off the lightning because it clutters it up a little bit. So let's get rid of those white flashes because sometimes they can be a little distracting. Come on. There we go. Okay, wrong button. Hey. Okay, now it's a little bit cleaner on the screen for you. So let's give this a time. All right. Now here's the leading edge of it. And that's headed to the southeast, east-southeast, I'd say, east-southeast at 30. So here we go. The rim at 5:57 p.m., so within 10 minutes, the leading edge of the storm. That means the first onset of rain and the first gust of wind. The UTSA at 6:01 p.m., Stone Oak at 6:02, and we get to Churchill High School at 6:14, Garden Ridge at 6:16, Madison High School at 6:17. That's the time on that. So that's with that line and this wind threat and hail threat on the tail end of it. And we're also seeing more of that development westward as well. You see the lightning and of course there we go, the showers and storms that have then just recently flared up south of Medina and headed toward Tarpley at the moment. So there is that development. So Mia, it does still look like it's kind of filling in and developing.
Yeah, on the south side of that.
Yep.
I do have a couple of reports for you, Adam. We have gotten some storm reports in. Folks in Bandera, some train spotters out that way are reporting golf ball size hail.
Yeah, so that's from that big hail core we're talking about.
Exactly. And then also, let me see here where it was. Up in Comfort, there was some quarter size hail that was reported too.
Okay. Good to know. Comfort quarter size hail confirmed within this line that's pushing in. So that's what we have confirmed with it. And that's right on the edge of that main hail core. So now this main hail core is moving through Pipe Creek, right where 16 and 46 intersect here in Bandera County. And this is the main part of the storm in terms of hail, but other chunks along this line could have quick wind gusts, little bursts of wind at 60 miles per hour. And it's moving into Timberwood Park right now. And within 20 minutes, it's going to be, within 15 minutes, you're probably going to have it in the northern reach of Stone Oak and along 1604 then by 6:15 there. 1604 on the north side of town, around 1604 in Blanco. South side of town, downtown, right now you're in the clear. And there's the off chance that this could just skirt north of downtown. And I'm mentioning downtown a lot because we have NIOSA going on and other fiesta festivities and activities out there. And so I will be mentioning downtown quite a bit, but I do anticipate downtown to get hit. I just wait it out. And then once it passes, you're in the clear for the rest of the night. By 8 o'clock, you should be good to go. We'll know by 8 o'clock. Get back out there and you should be okay. Once you're behind the cold front, behind these storms. Heading into New Braunfels momentarily. I know we gave you an update on the time for New Braunfels, and we'll get in a little bit of an analysis on that hail in just one moment. But first, our New Braunfels. In New Braunfels by 6:20. 6:20 is when that should arrive in New Braunfels. So within 30 minutes, you're going to have that in New Braunfels. The leading edge of it, the main rain, that's going to start it all. I want to lapse and animate this hail core one more time, get another look at it, and then we'll come in and time it out because it does look like it's building southward. It's building southward within the line and about to clip Government Canyon, the northern portion of Government Canyon here, and then potentially even Helotes. So let's just say here, given this hail's trajectory and its path, given its latest path, let's put this right here to say 1604 and Northwest Military, 6:35 p.m., right? That's the hail part of the hail core within there. That's 1604 and Blanco, 1604 and Northwest Military, 6:35 p.m. But it's not going to have that same shape, so it could be even sooner than that because these change as they move in. And then let's do this. Let's go right here down to 1604 and Bandera Road, 6:21 p.m. 6:21. It's about Bandera Road, Houseman Road as well. That's 6:21 p.m.
And Adam, I do just want to briefly mention as well, whenever you're ready for it, KSAT meteorologist Justin Horn is also out in the storm chaser, and his shot and feed is up for whenever you are ready to take that. He is at a 1604 in Northwest Military. Okay, so he's going right to where the, let's take it right now. Let's take it right now. 1604 Northwest Military. Let's go to Justin. Justin shot, and I'm assuming, I don't know if he can hear us, but you're chatting with him, but I'm assuming they're just going to then find a safe spot to ride it out. Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, find a sheltered spot to then ride it out. But I mean, if he wants to core punch and then, hail, well, then that's where I think you should be, about 1604 Northwest Military. But you can see the edge of that line there off in the distance that we were talking about. All right. Thank you for that. And once they find a good spot, we'll come back to him as well. But we can get back to the radar screen. And Marty, Claudia, Johnny in the control room. I turned up my earpiece a little bit. It was a little too low earlier. This is that backup one that we're using. Gotcha. Okay. I can hear you. Yes. Thank you. Just letting you know I turned it up a bit. So if you're trying to talk to me earlier, that's why I didn't hear you. So Pearsall, this severe storm is just slowly moving through. You've got some hail now that's lasting a little while here in Pearsall. This purple spot headed right toward the heart of Pearsall. You could still get clipped by some hail and maybe some wind gusts of 60 miles per hour, but the main hail section of this storm is moving right over the heart of Pearsall, right in downtown Pearsall along I-35. I want to again get to this area of hail, and we're going to look at it in a different way, this elongated portion of hail. I'm going to turn off the warnings. Remind me to turn them back on as well, okay? And we'll go 3D with this. And let's get right in here. I'm actually drawing a new one so we can get a better look at this. But this is that hail section, that hail core of the thunderstorm. And we'll go inside it a little bit. Now you see a lot of this red, that's the heavy rainfall, but we can just isolate the hail, and there's just the hail within this section of the thunderstorm. It's reaching pretty high, probably up to 55,000 feet. I would say.
And a new report from Pipe Creek, they're
Yes.
also reporting quarter-size hail, ground truth.
Okay, quarter-size hail. I'll be surprised if we don't get some reports of bigger,
right?
Maybe ping pong ball or golf ball size. That's, I think, the potential within this part of the storm. And this purple part, that is the actual hail. So that I'm just isolating that. And within the thunderstorm, the hail gets lifted, some of it gets suspended, and this is what we have suspended that then keeps growing because it takes water, it collides with water and then freezes higher up in the cloud and then drops back down and then keeps doing that. Drops, gets pulled back up, drops, gets pulled back up, and that creates those rings on the hailstones. And what's neat with our technology here is we can just isolate that hail producing part of the thunderstorm and see where it's actually hitting the ground. Notice how that's not far from Bernie, not far from Fair Oaks Ranch, Scenic Oaks, San Geronimo. That's the larger hail within the storm. And you see this little black spot. When you get those, that typically means that there's larger hail within it. And sometimes it can just be quantity opposed to size. You get a higher quantity and smaller size. That's what we hope for in these situations, but there's no guarantee that it pans out that way. So I'm going to move this up a little bit and slice into it, and higher up within this thunderstorm, that's where we have the black colors that get drawn in a little bit. And sometimes that translates to the larger size of hail. So that's this hail section. Oop, we just got a new scan. I'm gonna move this that way. And now it's headed into northwest Bexar County as we speak. That's the hail part. Let's see if we can put a track on just that hail part. Let's see. Oh yeah, but I can't go fast enough, so I'm gonna delete that. Here, I'm gonna come out a little bit more, keep that in 3D. Keep our hail portion of the storm in 3D. You got that? We're watching the hail portion. And now we're going to put a timing on that. And come on, give me my speed. It's going more so this way, isn't it? Right? Yeah, I'd say it's going more so that way. All right, so assuming this stays intact and everything doesn't change, but it will change a little bit. But the way it looks right now, this hail section of the storm that you can see in 3D right there, it's going to make it to the rim at 6:24, Chavano Park at 6:30, Reagan High School at 6:36 p.m., and Hollywood Park at 6:37, San Antonio International Airport / McAllister Park area at 6:42, and Madison High School at 6:49. So that is this section of the thunderstorm that we're watching with. I'm going to keep those times up there. That's this hail portion of the thunderstorm. Some of that suspended. So that's one of, I think, the primary, when it comes to hail, we're all very skittish after what we've been through around here over the past several years, and rightfully so. So that's one reason why I'm focusing just on that part of the storm at the moment. But let's get back to everything else and pop the warnings back on there so you can, the lightning, the warnings, and there you have it. Go back to home, get the big picture. As Dr. Reinhardt, who taught me radar meteorology, he wrote the book on radar meteorology, how he said, always be sure to zoom out and look around, do another scan, look around, because things can pop up. And so that's why we always do that. But more development on to the west side of that, and I think as we continue to see this fill in, it's going to start affecting more of San Antonio, filling in here right between in this open gap. What do we have for storm pins?
So I'm glad that you mentioned that because, you know, we've been talking about, we did have a ground truth report of quarter-sized hail in Bandera, and we have a photo sent in from this exact user of that quarter-sized hail, but we got another photo, this one, showing even larger hail out there in Bandera.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't know what size how big their hand is, but that's probably close to tennis ball size.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah.
So definitely cycling up there in terms of the hail size. We've got a couple more for you here. This is dime size hail about 5 miles north of Bandera on Highway 173. You can see that, once we see a lot of hailstones there hit the ground, they can kind of accumulate a little bit and almost looks like snow in some spots. We also had this pin that was sent in earlier whenever these storms were starting to develop in the hill country. This was sent in from Kerrville, some pea-size hail. And by the way, of course, if you are sending in awesome photos to KSAT Connect, thank you so much. First, be sure that you're doing it safely, but we love it whenever you can include coins in the photos as well.
And your location.
And your location in the description, because that really helps us determine exactly the size. And when we send these off to the National Weather Service, they are able to look at the radar trends, look at the size of the hail, and kind of just make sure that everything is happening that needs to be happening with that.
So it's been confirmed that with that larger hail size.
Yes, exactly.
Definitely. The primary threat for hail is that southwestern side of the storm. We'll get closer to that again in just one sec. Just got to come back over to the computer.
Yeah, but essentially what you're looking at here on this zoomed out version of the radar, we've kind of got two sections of storms that are moving through portions of south central Texas here this evening associated with that front. We do have some severe thunderstorm warnings across the Winter Garden, our southwestern counties, that one severe thunderstorm warning in Frio County that's actually crossing over I-35 right now. So definitely some hail and some strong winds associated with that. That does stretch down into Dimmitt County, even into southern Maverick County. So that's the southward section of the event that we're seeing right now. And then, yes, as Adam's been talking about and detailing, the strong storms that are now inching into northwestern Bexar County. So it does have that southeasterly component with it. The severe thunderstorm warning still in place for northern Bexar County, including north 1604. And it is very likely that we see that extended here as this continues to move into the San Antonio area.
All right, and Claudia, if you could please, we got to do a cut in on air. We got to hop on air here too with this storm, so please arrange that. I know we're focusing here online and on our app, but we also have to get on air. So that we have the ground truth of egg-sized 2-inch diameter hail that moved through Bandera and or Pipe Creek, basically, and now it's headed toward Leon Springs. So Leon Springs, you've got the largest hail moving in momentarily. That's hitting Leon Springs. Other portions of this line, Bulverde, soon to be New Braunfels, soon to be Stone Oak, Hollywood Park, Chavano Park, wind. Okay, where you see just the reds. Mainly wind and maybe some hail associated with it, but this is mostly a wind threat here. I'll circle the areas for you. Here we go, right here. East of I-10, let's say east of I-10 at the moment. The primary threat with this is straight line winds up to 60 miles per hour. That's just within this area that I've drawn out here. Okay, clear that. Whereas the hail threat, that's right here, just on the south edge of Boerne, about to cross over I-10. And that area, that's where we have the hail that's headed toward Leon Springs as we speak. That hail's basically headed toward Fair Oaks Ranch and Leon Springs, Gray Forest, Helotes. It's very likely you'll get hit by this chunk of the hail within the storm. And putting it into motion, it gives you that movement. You can tell which direction it's going. And we did see some more of that southward development like we were talking about.
Yep.
There we go, a little bit more southward development. And there's no reason once this gets to San Antonio that it's really going to fizzle out, on the north side of town. I think that's unlikely. So this large hail is headed your way. Helotes likely to get clipped by it, if also some more further development southward. But right now it's San Geronimo, Scenic Oaks, Leon Springs, Fair Oaks Ranch. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Will, thanks. Just let me know once, we get moving. Okay. Okay, 15 seconds, got to step out. All right, here we are, Adam Caskey here, KSAT 12 meteorologist, Mia Montgomery. We're updating you on the severe thunderstorms headed toward the north side of San Antonio, already moving through Bulverde, Timberwood Park, Smithson Valley, Canyon Lake. Primary risks here east of I-10, drying out the area for you. Primary risk is wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and maybe a few pockets of hail up to 1 inch in diameter. However, the primary concern with this line of storms that has developed, and I'm going to zoom out so you get a general idea of how much area it encompasses, that this primary concern with large hail is right here near Bernie, headed toward Fair Oaks Ranch and Scenic Oaks as well. Severe thunderstorm around Pearsall, that's headed eastward into Atascosa County, and we're starting to see a little bit of these two areas fill in, and we are anticipating more of this to fill in over San Antonio over the coming hour or so. But currently, the primary threat within this line of storms is this purple area near Bernie. Now, this has a history of 2-inch diameter hail. That's the size of an egg. 2-inch diameter hail within this purple and black part that you see right there near Helotes. And it's had some southward development as well. This is part of the severe thunderstorm and the severe thunderstorm warning. It's headed into Helotes right now, and even just looks like it got a little bit bigger as well, where you see that black area. So let's time this out for you, and let's go to the east-southeast with this storm and give you an idea of when you could get hit. This is just the hail producing part of the thunderstorm. The rim momentarily at 6:19, UTSA, same time, 6:19. Chavano Park, 6:25, Stone Oak, 6:31, Hill Country Village, 6:32, Johnson High School, 6:37, Madison High School at 6:42. That's that hail producing portion of the thunderstorm. And we can take a closer look at this hail right here. The white indicates a lot of the lightning that's associated with this. All these white, lines, those are the lightning strikes. And of course, this yellow is the severe thunderstorm warning. That's until 6:30 p.m. for northern Bexar County. You're going to get hit by a puff of wind, the heavy rainfall, and even right on the leading edge of this, moving into Helotes, that's where we have the largest of the hail. From Scenic Oaks down toward Helotes, damaging hail likely right here within this portion of the storm. And again, that's headed to the east-southeast toward the far north side of town and along 1604 on the north side of San Antonio. Isolating just the hail. We're going to turn off the lightning. turn off the warning. Mia, remind me to turn it back on.
Sounds good.
Yep. And just looking at the hail portion of this, we'll give you a cross section here of this thunderstorm. And you see a lot of colors, a lot of red, a lot of yellow and orange here. That's mostly the heavy rainfall. But what we can do is just look at the hail within the thunderstorm. This is the hail up suspended in the storm. Some of it gets kicked up and over and out, and sometimes that falls out ahead of it or gets sucked back into the updraft and then grows bigger. The hail can grow bigger then. But looking at this hail part of the storm, you can see a large chunk and swath of hail right there on the far southwest side of this line. It's headed right into Gray Forest, right into Helotes, and basically we can fly right on top of and through this area of hail. So the potential for 2-inch diameter hail, that's about the size of an egg, a hen's egg like you'd buy from the store, could be falling within this hail shaft that we have. And that hail stretches up, looks like to about 55,000 feet up into the sky. The higher they reach, sometimes that means they can generate even larger hail. So I'm going to keep this 3D view on here. Zoom out a little bit and then put that timing back onto this, okay? So what really stands out, of course, is that purple area. Now there could be wind gusts of 60 miles per hour around it. I don't want to discount that, but it's that purple area we're watching for the largest hail within this thunderstorm. And let's give that a little timeline. It's going east, southeast. Here we go. Drawing that out. And these times are estimates. UTSA 618, that's jives with what we were saying earlier. Chavano Park 625. Hill Country Village 632. San Antonio International Airport, assuming it stays on track and assuming it stays big like this, would make it there to the airport at 6:35, Madison High School at 6:42, and Roosevelt High School at 6:44. We list the schools out because those are good landmarks for neighborhoods and whatnot. That's the timing on that portion of this thunderstorm, and it looks like it's got some big hail that's headed right toward the rim. And UTSA, this area here, is some of the largest hail within the thunderstorm. And by the way, if you want to catch the latest on the draft, you can also switch over to ESPN. And I believe we're carrying the draft live on ESPN as well. It's both on ABC and ESPN. But I'm sorry, I have to warn folks of this severe weather that's moving in. So this is about to hit I-10 in 1604. It's too late to go outside and try to cover your vehicle and whatnot. It's hitting as we speak. All right, Mia.
I do have some new information for you, Adam. They have extended the severe thunderstorm warning for this particular part of the storm that you were talking about. This now includes the central and eastern portions of Bexar County, including downtown San Antonio. This new severe thunderstorm warning is going to run through 7 p.m. and exactly with what you've been saying, hail up to the size of golf balls, ping pong balls, certainly possible, as well as those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
All right, and I changed the frame there so you could see what the history of this storm was in terms of the size of hail. So you saw that big hailstone in the palm there. I can go back to it here in just a moment, but that's the size of hail that we've seen. And here's that warning she was talking about. This is why we always turn them back on, right?
Exactly.
But this is the warning that she's talking about until 7 p.m. and that encompasses downtown. And like we were saying, you want to go to Fiesta events, wait this out. Once it passes, you'll be in the clear for the rest of the night. This is just a one and done situation when it comes to the threat. It hits, you notice it, you feel it, and it moves out. And I turned the lightning back on so you could see the electrification, of course, within the storm. And one reason that we watch for the lightning as well is because that often can knock out power. Not just wind, but also lightning often knocks out power when it comes to these thunderstorms. Okay, moving back down. Frio County, here's where we have another severe thunderstorm. It's had some large hail, likely 1 inch in diameter. This is headed to the more of an easterly component to it. So we can draw this out and give you folks in Atascosa County an idea of when that's going to arrive. And we're going to try that again. All right, there we go. It's Charlotte, it's on your doorstep at the moment. Jordanton, 6:43 p.m. Pleasanton High School at 6:49 and Christine at 6:59 p.m. So that's basically making it to 281 in Atascosa County at 6:49 p.m. So this is headed eastward, likely to intersect 281 and I-37. We also have more severe thunderstorms farther to the southwest. These have now just moved out of the KSAT 12 viewing area, but we had some large hail in southern Maverick County, Zavala County, Dimmitt County as well. Now that's moving out of our area. That's basically moving right along the Rio Grande, and that's not a threat to San Antonio. But what is an imminent threat right now is the large hail, and it's this purple and black spot on the screen that's headed right for I-10 1604. We're talking Helotes, especially Gray Forest. If you're in Gray Forest, once this passes, snap a photo for us and try to include a coin on there. And if it's bigger than any coin you have, then maybe a golf ball or a ping pong ball, something like that to compare it to. But no marbles, please. No marbles. Yes. So this, let's take this live shot here. Okay, this is 1604 in Military, I believe, Northwest Military.
If this is Justin, he just said that he is in Helotes.
Oh, so he's in Helotes now, so he switched a little bit. Okay. So he's in Helotes, and I believe after this, he's probably going to head around 1604, but you see the hail coming down, and so far, I'm not seeing anything larger than maybe 1 inch diameter. If they could change that view and go back to the other view, you can see they parked underneath the covering of a bank. Can you switch that camera view again? Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, that shows the hail hitting the ground. Now remember, you see a lot of this small hail, then that can quickly lead to bigger hail. You just have to wait it out. And once the louder it gets, of course, the bigger the hail.
And Justin did just send me a text message photo of the hail that they are seeing. And the best thing that he could compare it to from what he has right now was one of the water bottle caps. But that's essentially, the size of a water bottle cap. That is the size hail that they're seeing right now in Helotes. So that's where Justin Horn is right now.
All right, back to the radar, that purple and black area. That's the worst part of the storm when it comes to hail. There could be some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but it's largely a big hail maker right now that's headed towards 1604 and I-10. So Justin was here in Helotes, where you see the brighter purple. That's some of the smaller hail, but the larger hail, this is right now just north of 1604, Camp Bullis Road, and west of I-10. So we're not looking at Camp Bullis. Okay, this is just called Camp Bullis Road. This is not actually Camp Bullis that we're looking at, because Camp Bullis is east of I-10. But these are the neighborhoods through Gray Forest, now down to UTSA, La Cantera, right here. Six Flags, you're getting hit. UTSA getting hit. Clark High School, Chavano Park, you're up next. Where 1604 and Northwest Military about to get hit. You go eastward, you got Rogers Ranch about to get hit. Reagan High School, Hollywood Park, Hill Country Village. Be on the lookout. It's too late to go take the necessary precautions. It's time to stay inside with this hail core headed your way. I'll time this out for some of the neighborhoods here. So let's see, we've got the big HEB 1604 and Blanco Road. Okay, for the hail portion of this storm, that's roughly right here, 6:28 p.m. So 1604 in Blanco, 6:28 p.m. Let's give you an ETA for Churchill High School for the hail, 6:30 p.m. Churchill High School. Clark High School, it's momentarily. Anybody living in and around Clark High School. Chavano Park, momentarily. If you live around there, it's moving in as we speak. But it's this section of the storm that's the most damaging when it comes to the hail. Yes, there could be some gusts within it, but it's the hail that's the primary threat. And we can look at the analysis from our system here and its algorithms. And this is obviously a scan off, but it is indicating, and even our system is estimating 2-inch diameter hail, which is the size of an egg. You know, you buy just regular eggs at the store. That's the size of this hail. You can even say a small lime, not a key lime, bigger than a key lime, but a small lime, you know, a small regular sized lime. size of hail within this. Let's go back to our 3D look, because this is the most threatening part, and this is basically going to head toward San Antonio International and even I-10 and 410, so Crossroads area, and we've got a camera looking out that way we can switch to in just a little bit, not yet though, and even the Wetmore area, Windcrest, Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, and then down toward Woodlawn Lake area, even Jefferson High School. This hail core is constantly changing and morphs, and we're also starting to see a little bit of a bowing section here from that storm. And we're not forgetting about you in New Braunfels and whatnot, Bulverde, Canyon Lake, your threat is just about to pass, then you're good. Bernie, the worst of it has already moved through. You're going to see conditions improve and get better. New Braunfels is just moving in, primarily a wind threat, and of course a lot of heavy rain, probably smaller hail around New Braunfels, and a lot of lightning, but you could have some wind gusts to 60 miles per hour. Unfortunately, it's this section right here that's going to be the big troublemaker this evening as that heads to the southeast. And I'm going to time that out. Okay, this is being a little generous with the time, but still. Chavano Park momentarily, we talked about that. Castle Hills at 6:30, Almost Park at 6:35. Alamo Heights at 6:36 p.m. Windcrest at 6:42 p.m. AT&T Center at 6:43 p.m. And that is for this hail-making section. And if this continues to bow out and get that more curved shape to it, then usually that's an indication the winds are picking up. So see how it's starting to make that kind of like a bow, you know, like a bow right there? That often means that the winds are pushing out and pushing that leading edge, making that bow shape, and usually alludes to higher straight line winds with the storm. Okay, I want to get back to 3D because I want to take a really close look at exactly the thickest and biggest hail right here. Okay, just the hail part of the storm. I'm going to get rid of all the clutter. Mia, remind me to turn that back on. Okay, this is just the hail part of the storm, and you see how high it stretches up into the thunderstorm. We're talking probably 45,000 feet at least. So that some of this hail is suspended up within the storm. It's up top because the updraft is still lifting it up and moving it up and down and through the cloud where it grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's why you see rings on hailstones, because it's kind of like tree rings. That's how many times it went up and down within the thunderstorm. And some of it gets kicked out ahead of it, but a lot of it gets sucked back in up through the updraft and continues to grow. And unfortunately, that's the situation we don't want to have. But we can get right into this here. This is the large hail, ping pong ball size, possibly even the size of an egg. This is it, falling over Chavano Park, Clark High School as well, 1604 in Northwest Military. This big section, the hail-making part of the storm, is moving in as we speak. All that purple, we're literally flying through the hail core, going into the hail core as seen by Doppler radar. Our Doppler radar, now dual polarized Doppler radar, which sends a signal out vertically and horizontally to give us a more accurate depiction of hydrometeors and types of precipitation, including hail or just heavy rain. And so this is where we have that big pocket of hail. And Justin was on the west side of it there in Helotes. Now it looks like the worst of it's headed through 1604 Northwest Military, headed east-southeast toward Bitters Road and then Hebner Road. So we've got a few neighborhoods here, Camp Bullis, Rogers Ranch. You get over to toward the Vineyard. You got a big HEB right here, and then Bitters Road and Blanco, Bitters and Blanco. Oh, there you go, Blanco, Bitters, getting it. And that's the large hail. Remember, once it's passed, submit your images to KSAT Connect via the KSAT Weather Authority app. That little camera on the bottom right-hand side of the screen that says KSAT Connect, that's where you can just upload it. Please include a coin or a ping pong ball or something like that, or a golf ball along next to it so we have comparison, or even a ruler, even better. And also include your location, though I think with the biggest hail, we're pretty much going to know roughly where it was. But please, just even if you just type general, Chavano Park, you don't have to put your street, you don't have to put anything that you don't want, just general area is very helpful for us. So that's the most threatening part of this storm. and I'm going to give you another track on this. We didn't extend the warning, right? Because I took the warnings off there. It's still the same, correct?
Right.
Yep. All right, I'm actually going to draw this out as a squall. I think that's going to help us out a little bit more. And let's do it this way. All right, so that hail producing part of the storm, and this is just the way it's looking right now. It will change and modify a bit. It's not like these storms develop and they stay the exact same shape and the hail within the storm stays the same as it moves. These storms are chaotic, okay? So the chaos in there will change just a bit. But the best estimate right now, at San Antonio International Airport, 6:28 p.m. Alamo Heights at 6:36. Olmos Park, 6:37. Monte Vista neighborhood at 6:41. And should it remain intact, you could even get it in Lavernia at 7:20. All right, so Lavernia, you still have some time. Lavernia, I don't think you're included within the warned area right now. No, you're good. But just keep in mind, Lavernia, this is upstream and the winds are blowing it generally in your direction. That's Lavernia, New Berlin as well. Seguin, you're not under any kind of warning, but you can see a gust front out there at the moment. That's that the storms are kicking out, so you're feeling that puff of wind, then comes the rain, and then even comes the hail. Okay, I'm going to take some of this clutter off. This is the most important part of the storm when it comes to large damaging hail. Have we gotten any more reports yet on pins on our
So we have gotten a ton of KSAT Connect photos.
Okay, great. We're going to go through some of these.
Yes, whenever you're ready, I do have them queued up.
Okay, I'm going to put this into motion just so people see the path that it's taking, right? And I don't want to forget the storm in Atascosa County. We'll get to that again, but we're watching the big hail move through. I think that's Rogers Ranch and then the Vineyard area, and now just south of 1604, Hollywood Park and Chavano Park. That's where the main hail is with this storm. Okay, I'm going to widen out this view, and then we're going to go over to the pin or the KSAT Connect and take a look at that.
All right, so here is a photo of a hailstone that was sent in Bernie near Fair Oaks Ranch area. So you can see got some hail out that way. This was when that storm was really cycling up over Pipe Creek out there in eastern Bandera County. That's where we've gotten some of the largest hailstone reports so far here this evening. That is a quarter there, and you can see that, yes, that hailstone is much bigger than quarter size.
Whoa, where's that again?
This is in Pipe Creek.
Okay, so that's from that same hail
Yes,
core.
this is from the storm that is now moving into Bexar County. Whenever it was able to really cycle up over there in Bandera County, we had honestly upwards of about a tennis ball size. And you can see now, this is live cam.
And
is this the I-10 and 410 camera?
I'm just showing, so I'm going to give you an idea of our orientation. This is at Crossroads. This is a typical camera we use looking south. There's downtown. So now we're looking south, but let's pan around. Sorry, I don't want to go too fast. But you can see the edge of the storm and then the heavy rain moving in. And this camera is likely to get hit by some hail as well. And you see it shaking up there. Okay, sorry, I wanted to share that with you while we had that shot. Let's go back to this.
No, that's great. And of course, I know the clouds look cool and awesome outside, but please try to stay indoors if possible. After this storm has passed, you know, and then you can safely go outside and see if there was any hail to send in a photo there as well. So yes, this is what we were looking at out there in Pipe Creek. This is from Helotes. Remember, Justin Horn was out in Helotes as well, and he was seeing hail to this size. So that is also a quarter there in the palm of that hand. Yes, some additional hailstones, got a lot there on the ground. Nickel size hail, this is the 1604 and Babcock Road area. Again, this is the kind of photo that we love. You've got the coin there, you've got the hailstones, so we are able to see exactly how large that it is, and of course the location in the description. Also, a lot of folks have been sending in pictures of mammatus clouds. We've gotten a ton of these photos into KSAT Connect as well, just kind of signifying, yes, there is turbulence in the air with those big thunderstorm clouds, and storms are definitely nearby, Adam.
Yeah, those hang up and over and away from the main parts of the thunderstorm. So that's what you were seeing earlier with those mammatus clouds, cumulonimbus mammatus. And actually it has to do with some of the air that gets pushed downward, and that's why you get the bubbles
like
down.
Little dollops, yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Dollops is a good way to put it. But this is the storm coming back to radar. Looks like the hail's spreading out a little bit more. It's not as compact, and now stretching from just about 1604 and 281 all the way down to I-10 Medical Center. right now and about to hit our camera there at I-10 and 410. I've got an eye on that off in the distance. And that's where that's headed, and that means we can give it a new time. And actually, remember how we said the hail's going to hit San Antonio International at, what, 6:28? There we go. It's 6:30, and that hail's moving into San Antonio International Airport area. And I'm going to give you another timeline in case you're just joining us right now. This is where you need to seek shelter anywhere within this yellow box that you see: Schertz, Selma, Windcrest, Kirby, even down toward Lackland, China Grove, downtown, Monte Vista, Alamo Heights. You know the drill. This is the most dangerous part of the thunderstorm right now, and actually our only severe portion of the storm currently. This is the only severe part where you could have a wind of 60 miles per hour and the large hail up to 2 inches in diameter. At least this has a history of making 2-inch diameter hail. Doesn't mean you're going to necessarily see that, but this storm right there, this section of the storm, that has a history of making that size hail. So Alamo Heights High School at 6:34 p.m. Almost Park, 6:35. That's soon, of course. Windcrest about 6:38. You know, too late to get out and try to protect things from hail. This is when you stay inside. The Pearl at 6:40. So right on the north side of downtown at 6:40. And Convention Center, Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. We've got landmarks in here, so it's easier to tell if you're in that area. 6:43, Converse 6:44, and AT&T Center 6:45. And I don't want to discount this little bit of hail we have on the far back side. Just moved through Medina Lake and Lake Hills, this little purple spot just north. That's going to stay north of Rio Medina. That's at least the trend right now. But that little section right there, some potentially damaging hail. That's headed toward the far west side. Wild Horse subdivision not far away from there, Taft High School, and even the SeaWorld area. That's just another part of this storm we need to watch. We have built up a lot of instability in our atmosphere today, and now it's this cold front moving in that's turning that into strong thunderstorms and hail producing storms. And one thing you look for when it comes to the hail, the more white the hailstone is, like cloudy looking, usually the less damaging it'll be compared to its potential. It's when it's really clear and you have that really clear hail, that's usually a stronger ice, very strong ice. And sometimes that can be more problematic, even if it's just a little bit smaller than the cloudy hail that you see. Either way, this hail right now, there it is, moving into Wetmore, Madison High School about to get it, San Antonio International Airport, Castle Hills Medical Center, you get the idea. Alamo Heights, you're up next. Kirby, Martinez, China Grove, and then we're also watching that little chunk right there. Let's go farther down to the south. This is where we no longer have a severe thunderstorm warning, but Charlotte, you're getting some lightning and thunder and just some good old-fashioned rain. What we're looking for is these two areas to fill in more, somewhere near or over San Antonio. This to fill in a bit more along that cold front, and it wouldn't surprise me if that happens. So even though you're not getting anything right now on the south side and parts of the southwest side, even Somerset, Lytle, Atascosa City, you're not included in any kind of warning, doesn't mean you're not going to get hit by any of this activity as it moves in. I'm going to give you a bigger picture just on this general line of storms and time out the line on when it could make it to your neighborhood. So we'll include Luling, right? Seguin, Zoll moving in. All right. Okay, here's a list for you. Well, it's a lot of the places we already talked about, but anyway, Universal City 6:37, so that's momentarily, just within a few minutes. Kirby 6:43, Lanier High School at 6:42. Let's see, I'm going to go adjust something on the computer in just a little bit, but anyway, that's that section. We have more of it stretching up to LaGrange. I'm looking at this because we have folks out here just north of LaGrange, and I know there's a lot of folks camping out here right now. This thunderstorm is moving in, a severe storm moving into the campsite in Warda, and that's going to be potentially giving wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and then possibly some of the large hail within it. But that is a severe thunderstorm warning for Bastrop, Smithville, LaGrange, Schulenburg, and then down here in San Antonio. And I'm starting to see a little more development on the far west side with that area of hail, so south of San Geronimo. So that's another one to watch. these two sections. Luckily, this has spread out a bit more and doesn't look as intense as it was when it was, say, hitting Gray Forest and the Gray Forest neighborhood. So it has looked like it's spread out a little bit and not necessarily as large of reflectivity factors that the radar is seeing necessarily right now. Doesn't mean you couldn't still have damaging hail within it, but I like the trend that I see, at least for the moment. These cycle and pulse and sometimes strengthen, weaken, and go back and forth at that. I want to go back to our live cam. We'll get to that. So there's our live cam at 410 and I-10. Yep. And I want to go to the one at the airport. I'm going to switch this over where we have presumably the hail moving in, or we had it at least. Okay, we're going to pan around and look at the airport. Obviously heavy rain here, but watch out for a gust up to 60 miles per hour and primary threat, hail. You can hardly even see the airport at the moment. Okay. And now we're back to storm pins, Mia, or the KSAT Connect.
Okay, so yes, we've been getting, again, a ton of KSAT Connect photos just kind of as this cell is pushing through Bexar County. So here is some additional hail in Lake Hills, pea-size hail, so thank you so much for that. This is a photo that was sent in from the I-10 and De Zavala area up there on the northwest side, not too far away from that live cam that we were looking at a little bit ago. And then here's the one that we showed a little bit earlier, Birdie near Fair Oaks Ranch. This is Helotes. So there you go. You have another little water bottle cap there in the palm of that hand with some hail that is even larger than that. And Adam was talking about, you know, the difference between the white ice and then the clear ice. We've got some of the whiter ice associated with the hail that fell there up on the northwest side. I-10, De Zavala, some additional hail photos. And this is the one, of course, that was sent in from the Pipe Creek area. So whenever this storm was really starting to grow and really starting to mature, we were seeing the hail size cycle up a little bit larger in eastern Bandera County. And yes, we had that egg size hail reported, even tennis ball size hail. And again, thank you so much for including the quarter, because we can see just how large all of those hailstones were able to grow. And one other thing, I know Adam mentioned this a little bit earlier, but since we've been really focusing here on this San Antonio storm, earlier we did have some severe thunderstorm warnings that were in place for Frio County near the I-35 corridor. That has been allowed to expire. So this is the kind of the big show right here that we're looking at, is this severe warned storm that is moving through San Antonio as we speak.
All right, we'll come back and take a look at this. Just seeing more hail reports coming in.
And I'm taking a look at some of the wind gusts as well. And as of right now, San Antonio International reporting some wind gusts closer to the tune of about 40 miles per hour.
Okay, and that may pick up a little bit here. But this is a severe thunderstorm we're talking about, and I know it's a lot of you are noticing the sky getting dark out there. This is moving right through the heart of San Antonio right now. Oh, will you hit connect on the Lynx 1 for me? Yeah, on the tracker. It should be, a box should already be open. There you go. I'm gonna step off while you do that. All right, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so this is the worst part of the storm, and of course that has to be hitting San Antonio, right? It's just moving right through the heart of town. We've got fiesta events going on, seek shelter right now, wait this out, and then once it's passed, you're good to go again. Just obviously a little sloppy on the ground after this. But this purple is spread out around here, and within those purple areas, all throughout the north side of town, between 1604 and all the way through 410, this is where we have some of the hail areas. So Medical Center, Balcones Heights, of course. This is where some pockets of hail are stretching over Alamos Park, Alamo Heights. You're getting it right now. Some little pockets of hail within there. And I know a lot of the hail may be, say, a smaller size, but embedded within there, you could have that damaging size of hail. The hailstones aren't all created equally, and they are different sizes within these hail cores. And Madison High School, we're on the far northeast side of town, not far from Live Oak. And Nacogdoches in 1604, Bulverde and 1604, this whole area around Madison High School. This is another pocket of hail. This is going to be a loud one as it moves in, not just because of the lightning and thunder, but because when you get the hail, it gets loud, and that can spook the fur babies, the pets, and especially kids as well, and adults alike get spooked by this. Just know, once it's through and it starts to get quieter, it's getting better and it's wrapping up. But we're going to time this out for locations that don't have it yet, who have not seen the onset of this storm. Don't like that. I'm going to start it over. Who have not seen the onset of this storm yet. All right. And we'll give it that. Okay, so let's talk the Alamo downtown, well, momentarily within a few minutes, and then Brackenridge High School at 6:48, Highland Park at 6:52. So that's right there just on the south side of town at 6:52. That's when that's making it there. Other locations not included there, let's say Lavernia at 7:15, Lavernia, 7:15. Give this an ETA to Elmendorf. And 7:23, this would make it to Elmendorf and Calaveras Lake. Right now it's moving into downtown, and it's got the hail. Now instead of confined to one spot, it's spread around this western edge of the line that's moving through the heart of town as we speak, moving into downtown. So we're looking along the leading edge, moving through Windcrest. You're getting it now, Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, Castle Hills, even now that far west-northwest side. We're talking about we're watching this chunk of hail develop over Medina County. Well, here it is now, Taft High School, SeaWorld neighborhood. It's starting to move in. And so you're starting to see that chunk of hail that we were watching and monitoring earlier. Now it's moving into your neck of the woods. And this is headed along, basically along 151, and even was previously along 16 Bandera Road. I'm going to switch this over to 3D so we can analyze the structure of the hail and how it's now more spread out and not as confined to one space as it was previously. A lot of lightning strikes, they're a little distracting, so we're going to turn those off, turn that off, and then just isolate the hail. And if you were with us earlier, we saw these purple areas just in one confined spot. Now we've got them spread out a little bit. So here's that hail within the storm falling around Taft High School, Brennan High School, between the two. This is 1604 on the far northwest side of town, 1604 in Wiseman, 1604 in Culebra. So zooming out, there you go. There you have that hail stretching up within the thunderstorm. And then still a little bit left in the medical center and along I-10, still some areas of hail stretching down through the medical center. Again, we're just looking at the purples and the hail threat here within the storm. I think it's positive in the fact that it's spread out a little bit, in the sense that it's probably not as large as it was before and previously within this storm. Not as big, but remember, it was the size of eggs earlier, so that was very large. But it has spread out a bit, still potentially damaging, just hopefully not as damaging. And there we are in Live Oak. You see that spike, the hail suspended up into the clouds, into the thunderstorm, and then this is where it's hitting the ground on 1604 and 35, Live Oak at the big interchange at I-35, where of course there's some construction and other things going on, and these storms never are good for those construction zones when it comes to ponding of water and whatnot. They don't always have the best drainage. So that's that. Those are the hail areas. The primary threats, I believe, as we switch over to that, our computer is going to say, the algorithms, yes, the purple indicates the hail, the primary threats, probably 1 inch in diameter now, and even just northeast of New Braunfels, a little bit of that hail additionally. But the current warning is for San Antonio, downtown. You're about to get hit. Those of you, okay, thank you, Claudia. Downtown, you're about to get hit by the heaviest part of the storm, possibly a gust up to 60 miles per hour with it, and then you'll get the heavy rain and the hail and all the loud thunder and lightning to go with it to accompany it. And this is a severe thunderstorm. Remember, to be a severe thunderstorm, it has to have the capability of producing a 58 mile per hour wind or greater, and or hail 1 inch in diameter. And it looks like we're mostly leaning toward that hail in terms of the primary threat, but within here you could easily have some damaging gusts up to 60 miles per hour. I know we saw that just about a week ago on the far west side of town, but not included. 1604 and Highway 90, you're not included. I can hear a little bit of hail falling on our
I'm gonna go
falling on our roof. By the noise I can tell it's just that small hail that's falling. I've been through a few of these hailstorms here, especially back in 2016 when we got pummeled, and this is that hail we're talking about. So we're situated near the Pearl, and I hear small hail in this little red area. This is roughly where KSAT is. But I've been here, I know the louder hail, the bigger hail has a very distinct noise to it. And right now we don't have that where I'm located. That's just my ears here downtown. Go up Broadway Street, up into Alamo Heights. You've got that loud hail as well. I'm going to track the back edge of this, let you know when it's going to be done with and over with, and when you can resume your outdoor activities and know that the threat has passed. So I'm going to draw out, hold on, first I'm going to move this, come in a little bit here, and then let's draw out the back side of this. So if you're wondering, yeah, I know it's hitting me right now, but when is it going to end? That's an important question. So let's talk about that. Now these times here again are when it ends, okay? I often show you when it's going to start. This is when it's going to end. And we're talking Stone Oak at 7:02. So most of the hail's out of Stone Oak, but in terms of just the rain and the heavy rain, 7:02 out of Stone Oak. By UTSA, 7:02 as well. SeaWorld done by 7:10. Warren High School and Clemens High School 7:11. That's when that would exit those areas. So by 7:10, 7:11, it's basically past 1604 on the northwest side of town. Mia.
Very, very small hail. Just went and looked outside, and yes, probably about a pea-sized hail, but very heavy raindrops, of course, too.
Yes, big rain. Zooming out, we have the thunderstorms in Atascosa County. That's not severe right now. We also have this severe weather that's headed toward Giddings and LaGrange, and this is some wind gusts potentially up to 60 miles per hour here, and even some areas of hail. I'm just going to turn on the base velocities. Sometimes where you see these brighter colors indicates the higher wind gusts, at least up into the storm. We're looking kind of high into the storm here, but some of those higher wind gusts closer to 60 miles per hour, they can get pushed down to the ground. And I like to look at that just to see where some of the highest wind is within this thunderstorm. And those of you out there, LaGrange towards Giddings, Warda right here, it's starting. Looks like Warda, you got an area of hail that's headed in right there. Here we go, area of hail headed right toward Warda. So that could be 1 inch diameter, maybe even some damaging hail within there. But along this line, some wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Then luckily we see this little kind of break in the line where it's not as strong from Luling to Seguin, Kingsbury, Santa Clara, New Braunfels, Zorn, Geronimo, everywhere in between as well. Zool, where it's not necessarily severe. Zool, you actually are just barely within that severe thunderstorm warning. And Schertz now, it looks like we've got that hail coming over Schertz, and now this little pocket of hail has pulsed up right over downtown and Alamo Heights. We've got our roads downtown, 281 going north. We've got Broadway heading off to the northeast there, and Austin Highway as well. And this is where we have some of the largest hail. This is falling on Burr Road, Burr and Broadway, 26th Street, I-35 here, north of I-35, Scott Road, Stanley Road, Worth Road. That's where some of the largest hail within this storm is. And we had the small hail reported here at KSAT 12 because we are just outside of that area. We're right down here. We are just outside of that largest hail area. And that's just about to clip AT&T Center. And you get onto the west side of town and we have more of that loud hail and even potentially damaging hail embedded within this. putting this into motion. So you see the storm motion. North side of town, Timberwood Park. Bernie, you're fine. You're in the clear. Leon Springs, you're almost in the clear. The rain is wrapping up in Leon Springs. Gray Forest, it's wrapping up. You had some of the large hail earlier. Pipe Creek, you had the large hail. It's over with for Pipe Creek. Medina Lake, it's over with. I know we'd like to fill the lake a little bit more, but we don't like all the hail and whatnot. It's coming to an end. Bulverde, this is all coming to an end. You've got a little bit of light rain. You'll see a lot of lightning off in the distance once this passes. You look down to the south and southeast, and you're going to see that lightning off in the distance. But it's about to move out of Stone Oak, Camp Bullis area, UTSA as well. You still have the heavy rain, but it's just a matter of about 15-20 minutes until it wraps up here around UTSA. I'd say 20 minutes. So still some heavy rainfall. And that's another thing we have to consider is the heavy rain, which could lead to some problems on the roadways, just like it did with our previous storms, with the previous storms that moved through. Look at this swath of rain. That's 2 to 3 inches. That's headed right for downtown. 2.3 in Helotes. Pipe Creek, we've got 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 inches of rain estimated by the Doppler radar. And it's no surprise that that's right around where some of that hail formed in that stronger part of the thunderstorm. But this is moving into downtown. Those of you at La Villita watching on your phones, hope you got inside the buildings there, because this is hitting as we speak and moving through downtown. The worst of it's basically now for the next 20 minutes, and then once it passes, you'll be clear to go back out. It's going to be damp out there, but you got to wait this out. Wait this one out downtown. And now the primary hail, 2 sections, one on the west side and then one on the east side here near Kirby, I-35 in 410 there. That's where we have that chunk of hail as well.
And whenever you were ready for it, Adam, we also have Patty Santos, who is out in the downtown area, and I believe we have her feed as well. There you go. So now it looks like they are on the move. Let's see if we can make out some of those road signs. I know that she was in the downtown area. They were just seeing some small pea-sized hail, which is what we've been seeing here at KSAT as well. But obviously, a lot of rain out on the roadways this hour. And for the most part, what I've been seeing in terms of reports coming in to both the chat that we have with the National Weather Service as well as KSAT Connect, generally here in San Antonio, hail up to the size of about a quarter, which is exactly what you've been saying and exactly what the warning is in place for. That's pretty much what we have been seeing here in town with this thunderstorm.
Yeah, let's go back to some of this is the history of it here if we want to get back to, I know you're searching through some of those photos.
No, absolutely.
Do it.
Here we go. Oh, there's a very loud thunderclap here at KSAT 12. So this is from New Braunfels, actually. So New Braunfels not included in this severe thunderstorm warning. And you can see just by looking at the hail size when it's compared to that nickel there. Since it is below quarter size, this is sub-severe hail. So that is, of course, one of the reasons why they are not in this severe thunderstorm warning, but still some pea to nickel size hail possible there. Up in New Braunfels, this was sent in from the Crestabella near I-10 and Camp Bullis area. So close to quarter size up that way. This was a little bit earlier in Kerrville. Pea size hail as these storms were starting to get going around the 4 p.m. hour. Here is a photo that was sent in from the Dominion, and this is about nickel size hail there as well. Again, fantastic photo with the coin right there. Thank you so much, as well as the location in the description. We've got some pea size hail by 1604 and Wiseman, and then this was one of the photos that was sent in earlier of this storm as it was really growing and maturing. This is what it was capable of out there in Bandera County, Pipe Creek. We were getting some reports of hailstones upwards of an egg size to even tennis ball sizes there. But again, now that this storm is kind of spreading out in terms of the hail core, not seeing hail this big here in Bexar County, but certainly we could see some additional hailstones up to the size of about a quarter as this continues to move through San Antonio. Yeah,
those purple areas are what we're watching closely, and I've stepped off cam because I've got a few things that were sent to me that I'm going to upload to the KSAT Connect there, so you can see what what other folks have been experiencing, and okay. Otherwise, it's getting loud over downtown. You got the hail, some of them the size of quarters, which is damaging. And that's the problem with this, is dealing with the potential for some of the damage with the scattered updrafts around the storm and the hail that's now just skirting downtown and the west side. Looks like the west side of town going to actually just get missed.
Yeah, missed out by some of that. I do have some new information here from the National Weather Service. They went ahead and extended this warning and expanded farther off to the south and east. So as this kind of goes into motion, you can see the two different yellow polygons that are popping up there on your screen. So we have this initial warning that's in place for San Antonio, but then there has been a new warning that now extends into northern Wilson County. Adam earlier was talking about Lavernia. Lavernia, this does include you. Now they're near the Highway 87, I believe that is, corridor. And this also extends down 181 near Calaveras Lake and into the Elmendorf area. As of right now, this does not include Floresville. This does not include Stockdale, but you very well could be included later as this storm continues to push to the southeast. So here's the latest in from the National Weather Service. This particular severe thunderstorm warning is going to run through 8 p.m. now, still moving to the southeast, relatively the same speed that we've been looking at about 30 miles per hour. And yes, this is just your run-of-the-mill warning in terms of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible, as well as quarter-size hail. So that's what we're looking at with that. So if you are in northern Wilson County, got the alert there on your phone, that is why. And of course, very heavy rainfall and lightning associated with this too, which is very important whenever folks are trying to head out and about for Friday evening plans.
Okay, I'm trying to get this uploaded here. Far north side. Okay.
And still looking at some of the airport observations in terms of wind gusts. So far, the peak is still about 40 to 45 miles per hour. But of course, as Adam was mentioning, we could see a couple of embedded wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour with this cluster of storms.
Yeah, but it's loud, and just we talked about it. It's coming to an end on the north side of town. It's the heart of it right now is moving through downtown San Antonio, the east side along I-10. These little purple areas, that's the hail, and it's the structure of it is changing frequently. And either way, there's, I think, suspended hail all along this part of the storm. It's just these, neighborhoods down to just a few square blocks that would actually get some of the larger, more damaging hail. And I know whenever we, forecast these situations and say, we won't know where the hail is going to hit until the hail-making storm has developed. And well, obviously this hail-making storm has developed, and that's what we're watching and tracking. So putting a timeline just on this to Calaveras Lake, Elmendorf area, here we go. The heavy action getting to Calaveras at 7:14 p.m. and then Elmendorf pretty much the same time, 7:14 p.m. Let's go. China Grove, it's moving in right now. Lavernia, give you an estimated time. And Lavernia, you're looking at 7:14 p.m. So Lavernia to Calaveras Lake to Elmendorf at 7:14 p.m. That's within the warned part of this thunderstorm, the severe thunderstorm warning. That's until 8 p.m. That does include northwestern Wilson County. Right now it doesn't include Floresville. Keep that in mind. But does include the extreme northwestern part of Wilson County, including Lavernia. So let's look just at the hail and the primary threats within this storm. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts potentially, and the hail. But the purple indicates some of the hail swaths in here, and there you have it. And looking at the history of the hail with this storm, check this out. Look at the history of the hail within the storm. I'm going to turn off the lightning and just focus on the main hail swath. Look at that, turning this off as well. I'm going to turn off the warnings so they don't distract you. But this is what we're talking about with this area of hail that was really more confined earlier when it entered northwest Bexar County. And now notice how it spreads out a little bit more. And this is just over the past hour, looking at, and even some pockets of hail spreading throughout parts of Comal County and now into Guadalupe County. Guadalupe County, you're not included in the warning right now. Correct? Not in Guadalupe County. Let's see.
I think it might just clip the far southwestern edge.
Yeah, it does. Yep, western Guadalupe County. Yep, far southwestern Guadalupe County. You are included within that severe thunderstorm warning. But that's the hail trend. And these darker, kind of blacks and dark purples, that's for some of the largest hail there, which was around the Gray Forest area. And these brighter colors is still for the potentially damaging hail, but not the largest of the hail within this thunderstorm. So it's interesting to see that. Now, another thing we deal with these storms, of course, power outages, not just because of wind, but lightning illuminating these storms. There we go. It is electrified. And now it does look like we're starting to see that fill in a little bit more. We're going to see that connection a little closer to Floresville of those two areas coming together. Pleasanton and Campbellton, we're going to watch this. It's bowing out a little bit. Let you know if the Weather Service issues a warning for that. But it's this lightning that can be problematic when it comes to power outages. And
I am checking the CPS outage map as well. I know we've got our awesome handy dandy tool for that. CPS right now reporting about 4,500 customers affected right now.
Yep, that jives. We have 3,500 right now, so close when it comes to the estimates of the outages. So these are the blues you see. Those are areas that have lost power or have at least some outages reported. And this stretches all the way up to McKinney and Austin, where we've had at least some power outages. Okay, back to the radar and timing this out, because that's what's important. When is this going to get here? Gonzales, it's right on your doorstep. And it's not severe from Luling to Gonzales, but it is right through San Antonio. And there we go. So Gonzales, you can get it, you'll expect it by 7:28, and Calaveras Lake by 7:09 is when you would expect that, the thunderstorm, to get those areas. We can come in a little bit tighter and even include some of these communities. Lavernia, it's right on your doorstep. It's hitting very soon. Elmendorf, we know it's hitting pretty soon as well. But Floresville, whatever's left of it, if you get clipped by it, this may just stay north of you, and we could see the more of the development down here come up your way. Either way, if that holds up by Floresville, it'd be at 7:43 p.m. Okay, did you check some of the connect that we have there?
Yes. Okay. And also, as Adam was mentioning, with the cluster of storms that currently is not severe, that in moving through Atascosa County, National Weather Service did put out what we call a special weather statement that's below a severe thunderstorm warning. But essentially, they're just saying that because, yes, that storm segment is trying to bow out just a little bit, wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour and some hail up to the size of a nickel looks to be possible, as it looks like it's maturing just a little bit, moving through Atascosa County and approaching I-37. But yes, Adam was talking about a couple of storm pins that we did have that have come into KSAT Connect. This is from the Hollywood Park area. That is below severe limits, and we do have some coins there, quarter-sized hail, and some additional ones there near the Canyon Springs and Timberwolf Park areas.
Oh yeah, that's definitely damaging side. That's I-10 in Camp Bullis. We were showing that earlier on the radar. Okay, and that was the Pipe Creek earlier. There is a video in there too.
Okay.
If you can find that and call it up here in 1 second. But I want to get back to the radar and that severe part of the storm about to hit Lavernia. You're being warned right now, Lavernia, time to stay inside. Those quick gusts of wind up to 60 miles per hour, and even the potential for the large hail that's headed your way. Oh, I'm sorry, we got to go a different way on there.
I'm going to try and pull up through the browser.
Yeah, there we go. That's the best way. Okay, and we do have a storm chaser out if we want to take the storm chaser shot. He's, I believe, there along 410. Well, that's a different one we have. Okay. Looks like that's on the back side of it.
This should be Patty.
And that's on the back side of it. And this is still just within the heavy rain. Looks like along 410. And yeah, 410, I believe. Oh, that just cut out.
I do have that video up for you, Adam, whenever you're ready to take that as well.
All right, we'll go back to the radar and then take a look at take a look at that video. But I want people to see, Seguin, Geronimo, you're getting hit right now. So it's moving into the rest of Guadalupe County getting hit. You could get a quick inch of rain out of this within some of the heavier downpours. But the concerning part of the storm right now is from New Berlin to Atkins to Elmendorf and Lavernia, where you could have the hail up to the size of a quarter, which can cause damage. And of course, wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. And then we're watching this Boeing segment down from Pleasanton to Campbellton. The backside of it, it's ending in Stone Oak very soon. You've just got some moderate to heavy rain. Bulverde, it's coming to an end. Timberwood Park coming to an end. Garden Ridge, you still have some time before it's over with. Hollywood Park, you're still getting the heavy rain, but it's slowly going to end. Helotes, it's done. West side of town around SeaWorld, Alamo Ranch, it's done. Lackland, it's done. Nothing to worry about in Lackland. It's coming to it has ended in Lackland. Windcrest, you're still within the heavy rain, and you could have some of the high gusts within there. But the hail has moved out of Windcrest. Windcrest, you still have some time yet until this back edge works its way eastward and kind of eats its way into the thunderstorm. Probably another 30 minutes for you there. So let's take a look. I don't have the clicker on me. Let's go back to I want to show you what this storm had the history of doing, and this is why we're watching it closely, because you can see this is, I think, the far north side of town. Yeah, the large hail coming down, bouncing around. And this individual followed up with a picture of that plant and a bunch of holes in the leaves.
Oh.
So that, another issue, of course, comes to crops and not just outdoor, neighborhood plants. Anyway, we're going to watch this for another minute or so. I tell you what, this storm here now starting to move out of downtown San Antonio, which is a good thing for folks that are doing fiesta events. Still the severe thunderstorm warning, but if you're downtown and you're in downtown San Antonio, the worst part of the storm is moving through, is out. You can see immediately downtown around the Riverwalk. Pearl area, Monte Vista, Alamo Heights, we still have the heavy rain, but this is soon going to be coming to an end in those areas. So you can get back, once this is done and the lightning is passed and the thunder is done, you can get back outside and resume your activities such as NIOSA and whatever other events you have ongoing. Otherwise, the main concern is Lavernia to Calaveras Lake, Elmendorf, and we'll keep an eye on Sutherland Springs as well. But those of you on the far east side from China Grove down to, from 87 down to 37, right here, this area, China Grove to Hilltop, over to Lone Oak. This is where the hail is, and that's headed into Calaveras Lake, Lone Oak as well. Lavernia likely to get clipped by some of that, potentially damaging the large hail. It's got a history of 1-inch diameter hail and then some hail growing within this section of the storm as well. That's headed eastward into Wilson County and Karnes counties. And this part has strengthened a little bit and it may continue to strengthen, so we'll be here to watch it. But that's headed eastward. Give you a timeline on this section of the storm. That's headed to the east-northeast. And we'll go a little more. All right, so moving into Campbellton right now, obviously. Poth at 7:44 p.m., you'll get hit by that. Coy City at 7:54, Falls City at 7:54, and Hobson at 7:59. That's this line, that section of the storm. Otherwise, we're keeping an eye on this. Coming to an end on the north side, coming to an end downtown. It's the far east side of town where we have it still moving through. And give you an ETA on when that's going to end, say 1604, or I should say 410 on the east side of town. It's wrapping up soon. So 1604, 7:30, it should start coming to an end. So you have another 20 minutes basically from China Grove to Lavernia. So 1604 there and 87. Lone Oak, Atkins, you have until 7:20 or 7:30 that was. Let's time it out one more time. And then that threat will have passed at that time. So Lone Oak, 7:23. Yep. Oh, that's wrong. Sorry. About 7:30. 7:30 is when that is coming to an end on 1604 on the east side. This is the part of hail that's left over. Not as much to see within it, but still some updrafts that can quickly produce some of that larger hail that then becomes becomes damage causing within there. And so far we haven't had any reports, at least not yet. People still need to go outside and scope out their cars and all that and see if there are any dents, but so far no reports of that. So we're going to keep broadcasting on our KSAT Weather Authority app. We're going to keep following this on the KSAT Weather Authority app and online on KSAT.com, and even on our YouTube channel. We carry this live coverage as well. So if you do lose power, just know that you can catch us there, because with this lightning and the wind, power becomes an issue. But here's a look at that storm, as it still has some punch to it, but maybe not quite as much punch as it had earlier when it first entered Bexar County, and now is moving through eastern Bexar County with the hail, which we're going to isolate. Just the hail, and still suspended a little bit within this storm. Here we go, near Lone Oak, where we were talking about. This purple is the hail suspended up within the thunderstorm. That's where that is. And then it's falling down there where the purple essentially hits the ground. But this is what has been the problematic part of this thunderstorm so far this evening, is this section that's got that large hail within it. But if it rained and stormed in your neighborhood and now it's done and now it's over with, you're good. You're in the clear. Nothing to worry about anymore. You're fine. It's areas that are still dealing with it here, far east side of San Antonio, east side of town, 410 to 1604. On the east side of town, east of 281 is where we still have it. That's where we still have the severe thunderstorm, and this warning here goes until 8 p.m. Okay, this warning goes until 8 p.m. Just know, if you're on the south side of town, you're downtown, no more threat. All the way up north, no more threat as well. This is just this portion of San Antonio where we're seeing the severe weather, and that just jumped on me there. So let's take a look at this. And I'm going to time this out for you one more time before we just go over to broadcasting on our app and online. Come on. There we go. Okay, got to try that one more time. Here we go. Okay, there we go. One last look at this. Floresville, 732. It does look like you'll get clipped by some of this. Not necessarily severe, but at 732. Poth at 746. From this section, Poth, you still have that Falls City, I should say. You have that other section that we're watching. Otherwise, Falls City, this section, 8 o'clock, but a little bit sooner from that storm off to the west of Falls City. Mays Crossing at 8:01. Pavlikville at 8 o'clock. But this other storm, that's marching eastward, gaining a little bit of strength as it does so. That's heading eastward, and that's going to hit these communities. Three Oaks at 728, Coy City at 740, Pawnee at 747. So that's the latest that we have right now. The backside, moving through a good portion of town. You still have to deal with it here on the far east side and into Lavernia. This warning not extended yet. I'm hoping we can allow it to just expire and we don't have to extend this any further. But for the time being, we can wrap up on air, and we're going to continue our coverage on the KSAT Weather Authority app and KSAT.com and our YouTube channel as well.
Right. I think that we are just now hopping back on our KSAT Weather Authority app. Thank you to everybody who has been hanging out here with us as we monitor these strong and severe thunderstorms that have, yes, been putting a bit of a damper on some folks' Friday evening plans. But as Adam was mentioning, we are starting to see the bulk of this thunderstorm that we've been monitoring here in Bexar County now exit farther off to the south as well as the east. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop it for just a little bit. Again, downtown, now things are really starting to clear out. In fact, I was looking at one of our reporters, Patty Santos, who is out in one of our storm chaser vehicles. She's driving around the San Antonio area, and she is starting to see some improvements out there. Now, roads are still slick. I've also been looking at some TransGuide cameras as well, and there are a lot of red lights on some of those cameras. So definitely take it easy out there on the roadways. As Adam was saying earlier, some of these thunderstorms, while yes, thankfully they are passing by pretty quickly just because they have so much moisture in the atmosphere associated with them. Some folks have been able to pick up on a quick inch of rain, and we could look at estimated rain rates here in just a little bit. But also, as we've been monitoring this severe thunderstorm warning, looks like we are jumping around just a little bit. There we go. The severe thunderstorm warning that continues through 8 p.m. as of right now. Honestly, looks like the strongest part of this storm now pushing through northern Wilson County, crossing over Highway 87 near the Lavernia as well as Sutherland Springs area. This purple color, that is likely where we are still finding some hail up to the size of quarters. So you can see it's kind of on the edge of that severe thunderstorm warning. I would be curious to see if they are going to issue a new one, having that extend farther off into Wilson County, because what I'll do is I'm going to put this back into motion here. You can see that it has been moving in from the Bexar-Wilson County line. It's pushing farther off to the southeast. So this is going to be moving into places like Stockdale, Denhaken, here's Pandora and Nixon there too, Kosciuszko, Pavelicville, Sestahova, right down that area. Again, this particular storm is still moving to the southeast at about 30 miles per hour. So a few wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour, which is damaging, certainly possible there, as well as where we're seeing this purple area, some hail up to the size of quarters. Also possible. Now, I do want to take a look here on the south side of this storm. Here is Highway 181. So for any folks that are either wanting to travel to or from San Antonio from Wilson County, because it is Friday evening, it is Friday night, Highway 181 not seeing the strongest impacts from this particular storm, but still some heavy rain and yeah, maybe some pea-sized hail, not completely out of the question, specifically in the far northern reaches of Wilson County near Calaveras, stretching over to Elmendorf. But Elmendorf, you're almost finished with that activity too. I do want to check out this storm as well that we've been watching as it's been moving through Atascosa County. This is now past Pleasanton and Jourdanton. It has passed Poteet as well. Here's I-37, still some hail up to the size of nickels possible there. So that is sub-severe, but that is still possible in the strongest part of this storm where we have some of those red and even pink reflectivity values right there. Here's Three Oaks, DeWeese. This is the Wilson and Atascosa County line there. That's now past east of Leal, east of McCoy, and now the strongest part of that storm passing through Campbellton. Again, there's I-37. Campbellton got hit with some of that large hail a couple of weekends ago, that same day that we had that really, really tall cumulonimbus clouds that all of San Antonio was sending in those photos for. So what we're going to do is now we're going to look at this particular portion of the storm. The good news is, and you can see right here, right at it, as it was pushing over I-37, that's when we had those purples in the reflectivity values. It has weakened a little bit, which is good news there. Looks like those purples are not as prevalent, not as defined as this continues to push farther off to the east, but still southwestern Wilson County, far western Karnes County, going to see some of the rain move in very shortly. So what we can do with this is we'll put a little storm track on it as well. This is moving to the east for the most part. We'll put it right there. Okay. So again, far southwestern Wilson County, far western Karnes County, going to be seeing this move in, even northern B County as well. So Mays Crossing, got some friends that live out that way. This is the leading edge of this kind of line of storms going to be moving into your area by about 7:33, so probably within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Fall City, they're on 181, 7:35 to 7:40. Pawnee, 7:40 to 7:45. And then Hobson, they're near Fall City, same time, near about 7:40 to 7:45. Again, that is non-severe, but yes, still some gusty winds to the tune of probably 40 to 50 miles per hour possible. And as well as some pocket change size hail, not completely out of the question. It does look like, however, in LaSalle County, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is near Cotulla. So this is going to be south of Dilley, really honing in on the Cotulla area right now. I would say this is probably a run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warning, where we see those purples there approaching I-35 in between Gardendale as well as Cotulla there. Here's 97. That is likely some hail upwards of about quarter size and some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible. So again, in between Gardendale and Cotulla, where we are seeing that hail core, and then right near I-35. So crossing over the I-35 corridor right here. That's probably where we have some hail up to the size of quarters trying to fall in that particular severe thunderstorm. But it looks like, yep, you can see it right here. Severe thunderstorm warning, that's going to run for another 35 minutes or so for LaSalle County there. Looks like it's moving farther off to the southeast. We'll say at about 30 miles per hour. That's generally been the theme that we've seen with this activity here today. Let's see. All right, so zooming this out, and something else that we are finding, this activity is really starting to connect a little bit better. Earlier this afternoon, we had the two sections. We had the section that was moving through the Winter Garden, our far southwestern counties. Then we had that other section that was pushing across the hill country. We had hail up to the size of eggs to even tennis balls reported in the Pipe Creek area. And then, of course, the southward extent just recently moving through Bexar County. The worst of that now exiting Bexar County, moving into northern Wilson County. And here we go. Remember, we were talking about this earlier? New severe thunderstorm warning. This now includes the eastern 2/3 of Wilson County, I would say. So the worst of it just clipping the Floresville area, stretching over to Poe from the far westward extent of this warning. This now does include the Stockdale area, Highway 87, moving over to Nixon, Smiley, Gillette, that area out there as well. So this particular severe thunderstorm warning, let's check it out, is going to run through 8:15. So we've got about 50 minutes on this particular warning now. And what we'll do is we'll clear this off. We'll take the warnings off for just a little bit. We're going to zoom out as well, and we're going to put a storm track on this. We'll just draw this really quickly. There we go. We'll say right about there. Okay, so assuming this is going to stay intact and continue at the same speed, same trajectory, the leading edge of this severe portion of this line here would be moving into the Denhawken area, 7:35 to 7:40. Nixon, same. Kosciuszko, 7:40 to 7:45. Sestahova, 7:50 to 7:55. And then potentially even to the Yoakum area by about 8:05 to 8:10. So again, this storm capable of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts embedded. Probably not every gust is going to be 60 miles per hour, but embedded, which certainly could cause some damage as well as some hail up to the size of quarters, especially where we are seeing these purple reflectivity values. So Stockdale, you're probably going to be seeing some of that pretty soon. Sutherland Springs, so here's 97, here's 87, where they meet there at that intersection. Then you continue on to the Stockdale area, likely seeing some hail up to the size of quarters mix in with that, which of course is severe and it can be damaging. So that is why the severe thunderstorm warning is in place now until 8:15 for eastern Wilson County for the most part. Here in San Antonio, if you are tuning in Bexar County, severe part of the storm has now moved out of the area and we are clearing things out. We are finished with the storm threat here tonight. Rest assured, be careful if you are fixing to hit the roadways for any Friday night plans, because yes, they are pretty soggy out there. And that's something else that we can do here in just a bit. We can also take a look at the rain estimates. We'll do this over the past 12 hours. We'll move over here, especially on the northwest side. We're seeing some of the heavier and higher rainfall totals. Let's sample some of this. In between the Med Center, Oakland Estates, 1 to 2 inches. Quickly there near Helotes, Gray Forest. Pretty much the same, stretching up to San Geronimo. And then where we were also looking at the heavier hail, the larger hail, eastern Bandera County right there. Bandera, Pipe Creek, Bandera Falls. Also looking at some of the higher rainfall totals there as well. Pretty much the same as what we've been looking at. So, yeah, some folks picking up on quick 1 to even 2 inches of rain estimated here by radar. We'll bring it back to radar too. Again, San Antonio finished with the storm threat. Hill Country finished with the storm threat. Really along and west of I-35, we're done for the night. Still monitoring this activity that is now pushing over I-37. And yes, the severe storm that is still near Cotulla in LaSalle County there. And then some of that continues to stretch farther off to the south, down I-35 and closer to Webb County near Laredo. But yeah, so kind of the catalyst behind all of this activity that we've seen, we've had a cold front that's been moving through. And yes, we had a lot of instability in the atmosphere. The humidity returned today. You probably noticed that, especially if you were out at the Battle of Flowers parade earlier, had more of a muggy feel. We had some fog. So when you combine all of those ingredients together, plus the lift that cold front provides as it pushes into the area, that's what allows storms like this to form, and then they have been able to kind of congeal together, and now they're pushing farther off to the southeast. Adam, anything good out there on KSAT Connect?
I'm looking into it right now.
Okay, looking into it, and thank you to everybody, by the way, that is. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you to everybody that has sent in photos to KSAT Connect. It's so helpful to see the ground truth of what is happening because, you know, yeah, we have the radar and it gives us a really good idea of what's going on. But when we have the ground truth, seeing what's actually materializing outside, that is the best tool for us to have, really. So thank you to everybody that has been sending in all of those photos. So here's the big picture. I'm actually going to zoom this out. There we go. Okay, so here's the big picture across south central Texas. Again, along and west of I-35, we are finished with the storm threat. Enjoy your Friday evening plans. Please be safe on the roads. Across the coastal plains now, this is the focus over the next couple of hours. You can see really over the past 30 minutes, this line has been able to connect. And it is going to continue pushing farther off to the southeast. So Beeville, also it looks like this is trying to bow out just a little bit too, that section of the thunderstorms that are crossing over I-37. So Beeville, you will likely see some rain here soon. Victoria, and just portions of Karnes County, DeWitt County, Gonzales County, if anyone's tuning in. You don't have a severe thunderstorm warning for Gonzales, but the far western edge of Gonzales County, that is included on this severe thunderstorm warning that continues for the eastern 2/3 of Wilson County there as well. So again, this goes through 8:15, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, hail up to the size of quarters possible, especially right there along the Wilson-Gonzales County line. Here we go. Here's Highway 97. And then there's Nixon, there's Pandora. So right here is where we could be seeing some hail up to the size of quarters. They're mixing in also with probably some pocket change, nickel, penny size hail. And then that continues near Stockdale. Here's the 97 corridor there as well. Floresville, not quite seeing the largest hail associated with this particular thunderstorm, but definitely seeing some heavy rain and maybe some pea-size hail associated there.
Go 3D. 3D. Oh,
yes. Okay, so I'll have to come over there and do it.
Oh,
I know. Adam wants me so hard to use the volumetric tool.
Just try it. You can do it.
I know.
We're all friends here.
I know. We are all friends here with it. So Adam, the last time that we actually had some hail, he created this new scope, which is really awesome. He's been doing a fantastic job with it. Just kind of see. Let's see if I can do it.
Now go to the little hand butt. Yep.
Got to tilt it a little bit.
Oh yeah.
A good cheerleader. Good cheerleader. But he's been doing a fantastic job with it because what you can do is you can kind of zoom in and out of these storms and you can see where the hail is really confined to and how it's lofted up into the sky as well. But yeah, where we've been seeing those purples there, again, just some quarter-size hail certainly possible. The portion of the storm that is moving through the eastern 2/3 of Wilson County, far western portions of Gonzales County, still that quarter-size hail certainly possible there. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear this off. Let's see here. We're going to tilt this. We'll go home. How about that?
And I've got some KSAT connected.
Okay, awesome. So Adam's been working on
I'll advance that back over and do this.
He's been working on some KSAT Connect photos.
There we go. There's some ground truth over North Alamo Heights at 6:38 p.m. Look at that comparison. That is so wonderful. You've got all the coins there, including looks like a Texas Lotto one. Play responsibly. But anyway, it's clearly bigger than a quarter, so it looks like it's about a $half size, a little more than an inch. You look at the ruler there. Wonderful. Thank you. That was a wonderful way to do it. And then lots of wind and hail in the storm today. This is San Antonio, somewhere within town. And most of that's the smaller size hail, but within there. And this shows you the volume of hail that probably came off a roof and then fell down here, 1604 in Leslie Road. All right, that's one way to look at it. We're going to go over here. And all of you, yes, in Floresville, you're starting to get hit by it right now. You're getting hit. We'll get back to the radar in a moment, but I want to go to some of the videos. Fallen tree branch. Somerset. Somerset has a fallen tree branch. Let's play this. Lightning spotted off in the distance. I was afraid of this. Come on, baby. Excuse the black frame there. The blank frame. Okay, we're going to go to the next one. This looks like it was on the backside of the storm, posted 11 minutes ago. Backside, here's some of the hail falling. Oh, why does it do this? Okay, we'll go back the old-fashioned way. Oh, goodness. There we go. We'll watch it this way. There's some of the large hail that we saw. Lightning strikes, of course. Some hail protectors out there. That'll help. Mammatus clouds. River running down the road at Pipe Creek. It doesn't surprise me with all that heavy rain and hail by the airport. Took refuge at the River Center parking garage to wait out the storm. $25 a park, but a heck of a lot cheaper than the deductible. 1604 in Huebner. This is from earlier when we were tracking. This was posted 33 minutes ago, but this is definitely quarter-size hail, even larger. It's about ping pong ball size hail or $half size hail. And this is 1604 in Huebner, where we were tracking that hail core before it kind of split apart and spread around. this driving rain, maybe a little bit of hail there. And here's a good example of hail. Thunderstorm with hail, Rogers Ranch. Look at that bouncing, hail bouncing there. Oof. Knocking little leaves off. That's a good video. Look at that. All right. High winds, lots of hail. Let's check out this ring camera. Blanco and Mulberry. I see little bits of hail hitting the top of the car there. Hopefully it stays little throughout this video. That's what I'm hoping. Looks we're getting some much needed rainfall. These are just some of the examples of what people have been seeing around town because, of course, it varies everywhere. Helotes hail. I'm interested to see this. Look at that. That's a decent amount out there. It got hit. South Universal City. Definitely some hail bouncing around a little bit, mostly smaller size. Ooh, this medical center, apartment walkway flooding, dime-size hail had fallen there as well. Some of the mammatus out there. Amazing pictures right before, out ahead of the storm, especially as the sun was setting and getting low. We saw that one. I posted this from a friend on the far north side. Sent me this around 1604 in Bitters. And that plant there is getting holes in the leaves from the pesky hail. So just an example of one reason why, it's nice to, oh, look at this. Somewhere around town, ponding of water out on the yard. New Braunfels just before the storm hit. You had some of that mammatus, 35 South Poteet Highway. All right, so now we're just seeing a lot of what it looked like before the storm hit. Oh, here we go. Vance Jackson and Dreamland. Rain, wind, and small hail hitting. And then there's the mammatus clouds. Look at that time lapse of the mammatus clouds there. Ooh-wee. You can see that the descending air within them that pushes the cloud downward to give them that lumpy look to them. With the time lapse, you can really see that. Von Army. Looks like on the backside of it or just before it hit. Storm is almost over. Yep, okay. Severe thunderstorm warning canceled for Guadalupe and Wilson counties. I don't believe that photo. So anyway, that's what we have there right now. Good. Thanks for everybody who submitted those. Gives us that ground truth like Mia was talking about and lets us know what's really happening out there. And this is the latest on the radar. So thanks to all of you for sticking with us. Do you got it, Mia? I can do it if you want.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay. I can do it for a little bit longer here. So yes, as Adam was just saying, which is great news, you're saying that was canceled for the Wilson County, Gonzales County?
Was it Gonzales or Guadalupe?
Guadalupe. Okay, so it was the south, it was the northward extent of that warning.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is the kind of big view, big picture. So remember, we've got that cold front that's moving through south central Texas, San Antonio. Our storm threat is over for the night, up into the hill country, all finished, and even off into our far western counties there as well. So this is kind of the main action now. We've seen the two sections of this line come together, and it is still advancing farther off to the south and the east. So Stockdale, Lavernia, Floresville out there in Wilson County, just now seeing some of the heaviest rain, likely a lot of lightning lightning strikes and some rumbles of thunder move through your neck of the woods. Pleasanton in the clear as well. But as these two sections have now formed and morphed together, they are pushing through the coastal plains here this 7 p.m. hour. So what we can do now, we'll zoom in and we will get you the latest look here. So the severe thunderstorm warning, you can see kind of on this lapse here on this loop as it's just moved through Bexar County and now through Wilson County, still have some severe warned portions of this line. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail.
Do you want to do can we set up a quick cut-in?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you do the cut-in and just tell people that you want me to do it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I was just saying a quick cut-in to tell people we're live on the app.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, I totally can do that.
Yeah, you want to do that?
So is Claudia, let me go see if we are back
I'll ask
there.
them. I'll ask them.
Yeah, so we'll get you the latest on this storm, and then once they get the cut-in set up.
Standing by.
Okay, standing by.
Yeah, you push people to the app and whatnot if you want, or online. Just give the warning and.
Does it still go through 8:15?
Stand by. 4, 3, 2.
Yep.
Good Friday evening, everybody. I'm meteorologist Mia Montgomery here in the KSAT 12 Weather Center. First of all, here in San Antonio, we are all quiet. The severe thunderstorms have moved out of Bexar County, so we are quieting things down here in Bexar County. But I do want to get you the latest. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is now in place for the eastern 2/3 of Wilson County, even stretching over into far western Gonzales County. This particular severe thunderstorm warning goes through 8:15 p.m. where you can see kind of some of these darker reflectivity values. Still some hail upwards of the size of a quarter, certainly possible, as well as some embedded 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So what I'm going to do briefly here, and then we'll get you back to programming, is we're going to put a storm track on this, get you the latest, and also, just so you know, we are still following this storm and this activity on our KSAT 12 Weather Authority app, so you can see the latest there as well. But what I'm going to do very quickly is we'll draw one more storm track here. Again, this is generally moving off to the southeast at about 30 miles per hour. So if it continues on this trajectory here, Gillette moving into your neck of the woods by about 7:50 to 7:55, Yoakum by 7:55 to 8 p.m., and then near the Westhoff areas closer to the top of the 8 p.m. hour. We still do have some additional activity, of course, that now stretches farther southward, crossing over I-37, and we'll continue to monitor this again on our KSAT 12 Weather Authority app. But for here in San Antonio and along and west of I-35, our storm threat has come to an end for the night. All right, we are all finished with our on-air cut-in. Thank you so much for everybody who is on the app.
Mia, one thing quickly. We got to
Sure.
watch that little notch right there.
Yes.
You know,
yes. No,
between
most
Floresville and
definitely.
Kennedy. Yeah.
Most definitely. Kind of right here as Adam was talking about northwestern Karnes County. So yeah, and also kind of this activity down here, when we start to see the reflectivity and the storms take more of a bowing shape, that's where we can see some strong winds associated with that as well. But yeah, so this is just the situation. This is what we're still looking at, the activity moving through the coastal plains. Let me put the warnings back on as well, since I did take that off. But generally moving in from the northwest, pushing off to the southeast along this front. Gonzales, non-severe in the city of Gonzales right now. You've got a couple of severe warnings on either side of you. Lavaca County not seeing any severe warnings right now, but don't get me wrong, some strong thunderstorms are about to move into the Hallettsville as well as Shiner area. Moulton seeing some of those.
Oops.
Yes, Adam.
Oh, no, sorry. I said oops because I moved the
Oh, that's
line.
okay. I was like, oh my goodness.
Sorry, no,
No,
talking to
fine.
myself. I moved the
Teamwork,
cursor.
right? Teamwork
Yep.
makes the dream work.
I nudged it.
So that's good. As we head into northern Lavaca County, again, we're going to start to see, you're likely hearing the rumbles of thunder, likely seeing the flashes of lightning as you look farther off to the north. Non-severe right now, at least in that section of this line of storms, but still probably some wind gusts to the tune of 40 to maybe even 50 miles per hour possible there, moving into to northern Lavaca County. So why don't we actually put a storm track on that? Just for folks that are checking us out from that particular area. I know my cousins live out there. So let's stop this really quickly. Let's get you a storm track near Schulenburg, stretching over to Moulton, Gonzales as well. I probably need to, oh, there we go. Okay, so Lavaca County, drier 750 to 755, Shiner around 755, so just ahead of the 8 o'clock hour. In about 10 minutes, we'll start to see the leading edge where likely the stronger gusts are associated with this section of the line. That's going to move into your area midway closer to the top of the 8 p.m. hour there as well. Same for Pearl City. So that's a non-severe section of the line, but still packing a little bit of a punch there as it is moving farther off to the southeast. We've got that severe thunderstorm warning in place. Eastern Wilson, northern Karnes, western Gonzales. And then we can't forget about our friends out there in LaSalle County, McMullen County near Choke Canyon. That's good news, picking up on some rain. Non-severe storms, so even better news there too. But still southwestern McMullen County again, where we're seeing the purples, likely some penny to even, yeah, probably upwards of about penny size hail there. And then here, LaSalle County, this is now moved through Cotulla. So Cotulla, your conditions are going to be improving here pretty soon. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning that lasts for another 15 minutes or so out there in LaSalle County. Here's I-35. So likely just saw some quarter-size hail pass over the I-35 corridor there as well. But Cotulla, this is now moving away from you. So we still have this warning in place, so we still need to be careful out there until this moves even farther away. But your conditions will only get better from here.
That's the nice thing. This is one and done. Once it hits, you're good and you're done. I'm going to advance this one more frame so you can see those storm chances and how they really start to fall off. And we can actually, I'm going to update those.
Okay.
I'm going to update those in a second. Now, if you want me the frames next to 3D, tap that little frame that
here we go. We're going to come right up here.
Yeah.
Tap that one.
And then
we can go to our future cast.
Yeah, I do the HRRR.
Yep, let's do that. Okay.
And you can move the view right now too.
Perfect.
There you go.
Okay, so this essentially is our high-res forecast model. This updates on the hour, every hour for us. So what it's trying to do, it's trying to pick up on the storm activity that we have in place right now, putting it into all of those math equations, and it is giving us a look at what could happen now going forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the play button, advance this on in time. And you can see that essentially it's just going to keep doing what it has been doing, right? Moving in from the northwest, pushing farther off to the southeast. As Adam was mentioning, yeah, this storm chance is just one and done. So we don't have to wait for any lingering strong storms that could develop behind it. This is taking all of it, pushing farther off to the east and away from our area. So by 9 p.m., so this is in about an hour, the strongest part of this line, the leading edge, is going to be pushing through our far eastern counties. So Cuero, still seeing some of that heavy rain stretching down to Beeville, and then we'll advance this even farther in time. And you can see by 10 p.m., so another hour later, this is closer to the Houston area and closer to the Gulf Coast. So within the next hour, I'd say for most of us, we're really going to start to see those conditions improve. And then especially for our far southeastern counties out there in the coastal plains by 10 p.m. Yeah, Victoria could still be seeing some lingering moderate to heavy rain. But for most of us, conditions are going to be a lot better and improving pretty quickly. So that is the good news there. All right, bringing you back to home. Let me go ahead and turn that off. All right, so this is what we're looking at. Again, here this Friday evening, all quiets here in San Antonio. I'm gonna step off camera really quickly and just take a look at some of our TransGuide cameras.
Well, I can go to that scene too.
Okay, that would be awesome. Just because, yes, since the severe weather threat has ended for us here in Bexar County, the roads are certainly soggy. And I know I was looking at some of those TransGuide cameras earlier, and we were seeing some red lights. It is okay. So this is 281 at Hildebrand.
Okay, did they call it up? Okay.
Yes, they certainly did. So it does look like the far left-hand lane there is blocked. You can see some vehicles with their hazards on in the far left-hand lane. Everything the other way is looking just fine, but that is certainly going to cause some slowdowns out there on the roads here in San Antonio this evening. And just know that, yes, I mean, the roads are still slippery. Here we go, Loop 410 at Fredericksburg. Look at that. We're seeing some sunshine return here in San Antonio now that the bulk of those storms are moving away from Bexar County, but the water is ponding on the sides. You can see that car that was just looks like getting on to Loop 410 there from the frontage road. I've got some water ponding on the side. So just be extra careful. Watch for those poor drainage spots, low-lying areas. Here we go. Here's 281 at Loop 410. And yes, there is plenty of water residue still out there. That's right by the airport, it looks like. But for the most part, you know, traffic is moving along just fine here in town. But where we do have those common trouble spots that typically accumulate the rain a little bit better and can cause a few issues out there, just take it easy because we could see some slippery spots still out there.
And
as well.
I do want to point out, if we go back to graphics, that the
oh my goodness,
we're seeing a beautiful clearing, right?
If you were just to look at this, you wouldn't even know that we had severe storms move in an hour ago.
It's a good point. You think, wait, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
So it is nice. We are clearing behind it, and this just goes to show the one and done. It hits, it moves out, we're in the clear. But remember, this is part of a cold front, and so the cold front's going to really kick up the wind. Right now, we've got those north winds in town around 10 to 20, but you go just north and west of town, further behind the cold front, and those winds are gusting 30 to 35 miles per hour. So those strong winds out of the north behind the front, that's what you're going to notice the rest of the night. It's still going to be gusty, but non-thunderstorm gusts. I mean, between 30 and 40 miles per hour overnight, and even first thing tomorrow, take a look at our wind gust forecast, between 30 and 40 miles per hour to start the day. And then by flambeau time, that's when the wind really starts to subside tomorrow. And I think flambeau is going to be beautiful and just fine. So 52 in the morning tomorrow, sunny and 75 by the afternoon. Less wind after sunset, maybe gusting 15 to 20 opposed to 30 to 40. And notice that flambeau time will be down in the 60s. So big changes coming in regards to that. Oops, that's the wrong forecast. Hold on. There's no wintry mix possible.
Stand by.
Standing
Don't
by.
worry, no wintry mix.
Okay, there we go. That's what I want to show you. 75 the high tomorrow. By Sunday morning, we're at 51. And then in the afternoon, sunny and 85 for the high. So that's what's coming ahead of us. We've got some beautiful weather for this weekend. We're lucky now that this is hitting right now. It's just going to be one and done and over with. One thing I'm watching really closely is this little
that notch.
Yeah, this little notch area. That's sometimes where the winds can swirl a bit and sometimes get a little rotation. That's why you see that little circular object on the screen.
And you know, even when we do have broad rotation, we can see, you know, some lowering in the clouds, but it's nothing to be concerned of.
No, not right now. This is just some broad and basic.
Yes.
But still something that we always watch is right there in those little notches as they come together. But Cuero, you're not that far away. Let's see, Cuero, 8:15.
So yeah, give it another 20 minutes.
And you've got it. See how electrified this is. Turn the warnings off, just looking at the electricity. And that Boeing section. Still have that severe thunderstorm warning in LaSalle County.
I believe that one's set to expire at 8. Let me check and see if they've said anything.
Oh, it looks like it expired.
Okay,
yeah.
well then there you go.
It expired. I'm going to change over to Corpus Christi radar to get a better look at these storms that are bowing out headed toward Goliad and Beeville. Easily some 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts within this Boeing section between Kennedy and Beeville headed toward Goliad and even Yorktown and Cuero. Oh, there's the warning just got extended. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So this new severe thunderstorm warning encompasses a good chunk of the coastal plains. So this is going to run through 9 p.m., exactly what we've been monitoring with this storm. Warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and pockets of quarter-size hail. So there you go. There's your storm track. Moving to the southeast.
Yoakum 804, Yorktown 806, Sweet Home 808. I'm going to filter this a little bit.
So if you're tuning in from the coastal plains and you're in that yellow polygon, I know it's Friday evening, head indoors for the time being. And then once it passes, as we've been saying, one and done, and then you'll be good to go to resume those Friday night plans. But yeah, if you're in the yellow polygon, a good idea to head indoors when thunder roars, just because this is as Adam Caskey would like to say, a rowdy part of the thunderstorm.
It is a rowdy part of the storm. And it looks like we've got some of the highest wind potential that are approaching Hallettsville.
So earlier, Lavaca County was not included in the severe thunderstorm, but now they do have the severe thunderstorm warning for Lavaca County.
Yep, until 9 p.m.
Until 9 p.m.
That's all headed your way. Hallettsville, it's moving in. Moulton, the worst of it's past. The strongest winds will be right along the leading edge, so you'll feel the wind and the driving rain and even some hail within it all right away all together. And then it'll slowly start to come to an end. Why is it showing that? Oh, do we still have that warning down there? Helotes, a report of 1.1 inch diameter hail.
Okay.
Today, 6:18 p.m.
Which that jives with the photos that we've seen come in from the Helotes area.
Yeah, it really does.
Checking some KSAT Connect photos just to see if we've gotten anything jarring that's new, but it's been pretty much the same.
Yeah. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to switch this over to another product that we use, which is our hail track. And I'm going to go back, let's go back 4 hours in time, okay? Get rid of the lightning in this. Check out the hail that was produced around here. I'm going to zoom it in. Play this again. See how it really flared up around Helotes. Boom. Far north side of town.
And thankfully, weakened a bit as it came through.
Exactly. Thankfully it did, but that's an interesting 4 hour look at that. I like to switch that over sometimes. And sometimes I like to turn off the lighting so you can just see the heavy rain. That's moving in. You guys are going to get it momentarily.
Yeah, and these storms have been progressing through pretty quickly. Obviously, is what we've just been monitoring all evening long. But yeah, they started firing up in the hill country around 4 p.m. and then have just been able to form into this line ever since then.
Yeah, and they're moving. They're flying fast right now. It's a good thing. That means they're move out quicker.
Yes. But even when storms do move so fast, just because of the storm motion itself, you can see some gusty winds form. And then, of course, whenever they do mature and intensify a little bit, that's why we've got the severe warnings for the potential to find along that leading edge. Yeah, you can see where we've got those brighter colors, especially northern Lavaca County near Moulton, approaching Hallettsville. So Hallettsville, if you are not already seeing those strong winds move in any moment now, upwards of about 60 to maybe even 70 is closer to what the radar was estimating a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it flared up right there.
Yep.
Yeah, so Hallettsville, Moulton, just getting hit, still going through it. It's about to clear out of Moulton, but Hallettsville, that strong wind's moving in. Everybody between Hallettsville and Cuero, get ready. That's you, Yoakum, of course. Get ready. Yorktown, Nordheim, headed your way momentarily. It's going to be there soon.
Checking for a couple updates over here.
Yeah, I tell you what, we may take a quick break. We'll be back and I'm going to turn my mic off for a second just as I look at a few things, and we'll keep this radar up for you.
Okay.
For everybody in those areas for sure.
Do some housekeeping back here.